Hey everyone, my name is Rosie and welcome back to my channel. Lately we've been doing a lot of challenges and a lot of very specific collages, and today I just want to take a step back, go a little bit slower. Let's just flip through some books and magazines, see what images we can find that inspire us, and make a collage. So let's get into it. I flipped through a couple of Nat Geos and pulled out some images that I liked. The first is this aluminum can that I thought might make a nice little house for a critter. And you know, this opening could be the front door. Maybe we could nestle it in some nature or something. This dancer I thought was just kind of, you know, really moody, and I thought maybe she could go somewhere nice. This image I thought might pair well with this neighborhood. If I cut the street out and put this boat image behind, I maybe could get it to look like the boat is sort of going down the street between these two houses. And I like that the boat is bigger than the houses, but I kind of liked that idea. Then this shark was just making the funniest face, so I pulled him out. In this church picture, I thought was just kind of a nice angle, you know, the fact we're looking up at the church. It is a really narrow image, but I thought maybe I could cut the church out and nestle it between two things in a background. It might be fun if we find an image that's really small, like looking at grass or something, and we have grass coming up on each side, and we can nestle it in there, maybe. My next step is looking for images that I could pair with these. Well, I guess we could look at the boat going into this road and see if that at all works. But I want to find a couple of backgrounds for maybe these two images, and we'll see what I can find and go from there. So it's actually the next day, but I did want to check in on a few things. This piece I think is okay. This combination is, I don't know, it's not reading quite as well as I would like it to. I think maybe the boat is a little bit too big. I'm not entirely sure, but I was thinking maybe we could put the shark in the sky and he's coming down to, you know, chomp them. That might sort of save that piece. I'm not entirely sure, but I'm going to set that one off to the side. And I did find this background for the can, which I thought maybe would work, and we could have, you know, some critters coming out here, but I'm not entirely sure. I'm not completely sold on that yet. I went for a walk earlier and I found a tree that had a hole in it. I'll put a picture on screen. And I was thinking, I saw that and thought, wow, if I had a picture of that, I would put the church in that hole in the tree. But I was thinking we could maybe try to find a picture of a tree to put the church into and sort of integrate it into a tree. That might work. It's gonna have to be a pretty big tree picture because this is pretty big. So that's just a touch base for us. So let's keep flipping through stuff and see what we can find. The last minute addition of this shark sighted today sign is the one thing that makes this piece a lot more fun and less scary. And I think that's a great thing. I also think this is a good example of maybe the scale of some of the objects being just a little bit off. I think maybe if the boat had been a tiny bit smaller, it would have maybe integrated a little bit better into the scene. And perhaps if the shark was a little bit smaller, that might have helped too. But I think overall, this is a really fun piece. Let's move on to the next one. I found 2 images in this Yosemite book that I thought maybe could work. I did mark them. So there's this one. I found this little waterfall that's sort of in the middle of the scene. And I was thinking maybe instead of having critters living in this can, if we had the waterfall sort of coming out of the can, so it's like the can spilling into this nature environment. And I like that the can would be sort of nice and centered. I do think tucking it behind this tree here is going to be complicated. We could just try and see what this looks like. It might work, it also might not work. So there's that one. And then I also found these trees. This tree with these people sitting in the front here might work for my idea to put the church in this tree. I'm gonna have to cut off probably some of the sides, and obviously the sky has got to go. But I'm thinking maybe if we, leave a little bit of the tree on each side and sort of just nestle the church into this. The thing about this is we just have to cut it out and sort of see if we can merge these at all. So let's pull these 2 images out and see if any of these are going to work. And yeah, that's what we gotta just do, is just try to see. Start with this one, just because I think it will be easier. But I don't think it will be easy. I just think it will be easier than putting a church in a tree. So I cut a lot of this tree and landscape area down here out with my X-Acto knife because I wanted to try to slip the can into the environment. But this is feeling very messy and not quite right to me. So I'm hoping if we just take the waterfall water and slip that into the can, so it looks like the water's coming out of the can, and then just sort of lay the can over the landscape. And then if we trim a lot of the right side of this image off, we won't see this tree, which is what I was trying to cut around. So if we just cut that off, maybe to here or something, just make the scene a lot tighter. I don't think we have to worry about integrating the can into the scene more. It's less obvious what's going on if we chop off a lot of what's happening over here on the right. So now we're bringing the focal point tighter into what's really important, which is the water coming out of the can. I'm really loving this piece, and I don't think we need to add anything else. It needs really to be trimmed and tighter, but I like that the mom and the son are looking at the landscape and it's this can. I think this piece is really perfect. I love how the can and the waterfall interact, and I just love how it looks in the landscape. It has a really nice focal point, and overall I just think the composition is really great. This piece is an A+ in my book, so let's move on to the next one. So let's put that off to the side and try to tackle this church in the tree thing and see if this is gonna work. All right, let's see what this looks like. I really just cut 2 slits in the tree, and I'm gonna slide the image into it and see what that looks like. I was thinking if I could get the church all the way down to the bottom here and have this family be sitting on the steps, that might be more interesting, but I didn't cut the slits down low enough. But does it make sense to cover up more of the bottom of the tree? I don't know. All right, let's get this in here and see what this looks like. So tuck that there, tuck the family down here. Then we have to tuck this side in over here. Well, I think we would want to cut the railing out from this image and have that come out in front, because that would make sense. If you're going to have a railing leading up to your tree church, it would not be tucked back there. I am really struggling with how to properly sort of integrate this church into this tree scene. It's possible this is not the right image for this, so maybe I'll just keep this idea in the back of my mind. And if I find a better image in the future one day, maybe I'll bring this out. But for now, I'm gonna put this piece off to the side and work on something else. I was really loving how our ballerina was sort of prancing through this forest, but I did feel like she needed one more thing. So I looked through a couple books and I found this, I guess, sort of deconstructed daisy with all the separated petals. And I immediately thought of the He Loves Me Not game, where you pick off the petals of the daisy to try to figure out if the person you want to be in love with you is in love with you or not. And I thought this would be the perfect sort of thing for her to be doing along with her dance. So I went ahead and tried to fit this into the scene. This last piece is really beautiful. I love the scale of the ballerina in the forest. And I love this idea that she's playing this loves me not game with this flower and picking all the petals off and trying to figure out if her crush loves her. And she's leaving this trail of petals through the forest. I really love that idea. I'm definitely going to name this piece Loves Me Not. I made this octopus costume last year and really wanted to wear it today. I thought it was, fitting for the holiday, but it's not so functional to collage in. I'm not really sure how I would use scissors with tentacles, but today we made, 3.5 collages and they were fun. I like days where I can just sit down, find images and build off from that and, just kind of have a fun, relaxing collage day. So I hope that you all enjoyed this video. I hope you have a fantastic Halloween and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!